Manila didn't just wake up. It roared. And when a nation hits the streets calling corruption enormous evil, you know something big just snapped. We're diving into the scandals shaking the Philippines harder than a jeepney on bad suspension. Welcome to @GlobalPulseNewz. Let's break it down. Manila's streets turned into a full-blown political thunderstorm as thousands rallied against what they called enormous evil corruption. And this wasn't some random pop-up protest. This was rage with purpose, anger with a microphone, and citizens fed up to their eyeballs. Think of Manila saying, "Fix your mess or we'll drag the truth out ourselves." The crowd energy, off the charts, loud and absolutely unmissable. And trust me, the reason they're fired up isn't just emotional. Fact 2 explains the spark that lit the fuse. At the center of the uproar, flood control projects so sketchy they'd make a scammer blush. We're talking overpriced structures, shoddy builds, and some projects that allegedly exist only on paperwork, like ghosts with million-dollar budgets. Filipinos weren't just mad, they felt betrayed. When life-saving infrastructure becomes a cash grab, people don't just protest, they explode. But the timing made everything 10 times worse, because Fact 3 brings in nature into the drama. Just weeks before the rally, Typhoon Kalmegi ripped through central Philippines, leaving more than 200 dead and communities underwater. Embankments that were supposed to hold strong collapsed like cardboard. For many, the disaster wasn't just tragic, it was proof that corruption kills. When people drown because officials allegedly cut corners, anger isn't optional, it's automatic. And speaking of accountability, Fact 4 shows why people are calling the investigation a total flop. The government launched an inquiry, but protesters say the investigation is about as convincing as a bad alibi. Selective, slow, and suspiciously gentle on the powerful. That's the public verdict. One protester said, "No one's being held accountable," and that line spread like wildfire. It's hard to trust a system when the system looks allergic to the truth. And now the political plot thickens because Fact 5 brings in the heavy hitters. President Marcos Jr. threatened jail time for nearly 40 officials tied to the scandal. Sounds tough, right? But then his former ally flipped the script, accusing Marcos and his cousin, a former House Speaker, of masterminding the whole scheme. That's right, the scandal went from messy to explosive, and the accusations suddenly pointed upward, not sideways. And then an even bigger voice jumped in. Fact 6 introduces the powerhouse behind the march. Iglesia Ni Cristo, one of the Philippines' most influential churches, hit the streets in massive numbers. And when INC moves, the country notices. They kept hinting at a mastermind, never naming names, but making it very clear who they believe is responsible. The same group that helped Marcos win is now loudly demanding accountability. That's a political earthquake. But not every group is on the same page. Fact 7 explains why the protest wasn't fully united. Left-wing groups and the Catholic Church refused to back INC, saying they can't march beside a group that still supports Vice President Sara Duterte, who also faces corruption claims. It turned into a protest within a protest. United anger, divided alliances. Only in the Philippines can a rally be both synchronized and split at the same time. And then a former official added gasoline. Fact 8 gets personal. Former Congressman Salico released videos accusing top officials of orchestrating corruption and covering their tracks. His revelations exploded across social media, giving protesters even more ammo. When insiders spill tea, the public doesn't sip, they chug. And his claims made Filipinos question just how deep the rot goes. But the biggest question remains. Fact 9 hits the nerve. Nobody knows who's actually telling the truth. The president denies everything, accused officials deny everything, INC implies guilt, and activists say the whole story is being buried alive. It's a political mystery with too many suspects and not enough honesty. And that uncertainty keeps the protests alive. And that sets up the final truth. Fact 10 brings it home. Despite political divisions, Filipinos are united in one powerful reality. They're tired of corruption. tired of excuses and tired of disasters made worse by greed. The rally wasn't just a protest, it was a warning shot, a declaration that the people are watching, the people are angry, and the people are done letting corruption slide. Manila spoke loudly. If this breakdown hit you with the clarity you needed or the energy you didn't know you needed, tap that like button, smash that subscribe button, and drop your take in the comments. Do you think the mastermind is who everyone thinks it is? Let's talk. You're watching at Global Pulse News, where news meets electricity.